So today we're going to be talking about how to get to your desired reality by closing that gap to where you're putting your desired reality into a future situation rather than bringing it into the now. We have to be that energy, to be that person in this very moment so that we can see it physically manifest. Okay, it starts so much with our internal, bringing it back to our internal. If we want to create something, we have to change from within. Yes. So how do we do that? How do we do that? So I'll give you an example. So, for example, if you're wanting to bring more abundance into your life, whether that's you want to have more abundant relationships or more abundant material objects or feelings of abundance, feeling an abundance of happiness, of joy, of peace, we have to step into that energy in the now. And we can think about this as a game. I want you to start treating this like a game, because when you have fun with it, when you play around with it, you'll see what works for you, because what's going to work for you is not going to work for necessarily anyone else. And so whilst I'm going to give you some tips and tricks, see what works for you, getting you in that state of high vibrational frequency, because often the things that we want to bring into our lives are the things that we have to be a certain frequency in order to receive. So when we think about fear, for example, I'm just giving the kind of opposite example so that you can understand both aspects, because the fact is we're always manifesting in our lives. It's not that you have a problem with manifesting, because you're doing it automatically whether you realise it or not, whether you're consciously doing it or not. We're always manifesting, okay? But when you learn the tools to consciously manifest, this is where your life's going to change, because you will have the say in what you're manifesting, rather than just being thrown about by the universe or thrown about by your own consciousness. You will have a level of understanding to where you can then implement the things you want to implement in your lives to create the changes you want to create. So for example, with this idea of, maybe I'll talk about the higher aspect first. And I say higher not in a sense that one's better or the other, because when we think about fear and we think about love, they exist on the same spectrum. I'm just simply talking about the vibratory rate to which they exist on, because for example, fear's over here and love can be over here, but it's just where we are on that path. It's where we are on that frequency, and this is where our choices matter, because we can choose to be over here. We can take actions that are going to put us in that fear state, whether we're constantly either checking our bank account or we never check our bank account to the point we're avoiding it, because internally we feel this really horrible feeling that says, oh, this scarcity, like I don't have enough, money comes to me hard, it's hard to make money. You know what I mean? When we have all these associations with it, that keeps us in that state of fear, of lack, of scarcity. Okay, so we need to shift where our vibration is. And so often you can do this without actually focusing on that thing. And I'm not saying avoid seeing your bank account and looking at what it says. That's not what I'm saying. We need to be realistic to a degree. But what I am saying is that when we do look at our bank accounts, we need to be grateful for the fact that we do have money coming in, or that we already have everything that we need, that our needs are being met. And even if things in your life don't feel that way, we need to cultivate those feelings from within. So even just focusing on the little aspects, whether that's you have access to running water. Gosh, I'm so thankful that I can I can have a drink when I want to have a drink, that I'm able to shower when I want to shower, that I have access to hot water. Find whatever it is that can bring you into that state of gratitude, of appreciation, of abundance, because abundance and gratitude go hand in hand with each other. If you think about rich people, they have more than enough. They're not worried about the next paycheck when it's coming in, or they're not worried about the fact they don't have something. They know that their cup is already overfilling and that it's already full. So in order to become more abundant, you need to think abundantly, you need to act abundantly. And again, this isn't saying go and recklessly spend, because you know your position better than anyone. So don't do something that's going to put you in a state of self-sabotage and of ultimately insecurity. Be realistic in that sense, but also detach from where your current life circumstances are. And these are quite hard concepts to sometimes come to terms with, because there needs to be this level of detachment from what we physically see at the moment, but also this ability to know that our choices can have these impacts, like if we're impulsively spending when we know we should be saving because we can't afford that thing right now. So you know better than anyone what your situation looks like at the moment. But we want to be focusing more so on mind sight than eyesight. So again, being grateful for the things that you already have is going to help to put you in vibrational frequency so that the universe can bring you more. He who focuses on, what do they say? He who says he has will always have enough, and he who says he doesn't will have everything taken from him. It's the fact that when we're grateful for what we already have, the universe can say, it literally looks at that and says, oh, they already have enough, so we can keep pouring in, we can keep giving more. And these are the laws of the universe. And when we learn the laws of the universe, we can play with the universe. We understand the game because we have the rule book. And yes, you have the rule book. When you learn the laws of the universe, you will have the tools and the rules to rewrite the game. You know, if for example we were playing Scrabble and we'd never played Scrabble before, which I'm just guessing you all know about Scrabble, but if you don't, it's this board game that you can play where you have to create words. You've got like 7 or 8 letters and you have to create a word with that. And if, for example, it was your first time playing Scrabble and no one taught you how to play, you wouldn't have a clue. Unless someone taught you, you would not have a clue how to play it. You would see these letters, maybe you would have some sort of grasp of what's going on, but you wouldn't know the rules, you wouldn't know the techniques. And so when we understand the rules, we can then play the game how it was meant to be played. And this is often what the rich will not tell you, because that's how they play the game. We need to start playing the game in the frequency of that person that we want to be, or that we want to shift into in that reality. And there's a really good book by Deepak Chopra called The Seven Spiritual Laws of the Universe. And these are just some of the laws. There's a multitude of books out there, or writings that you can research and look into. And again, when you know how to play the game, when you know the rules, you can then implement that, and you don't necessarily change the game, but you change how you play. Okay, change how you play the game. Stop trying to change the game. The game already has a set base of rules. You know, just standing there to the universe or praying to God, whatever it is, saying, you know, please give me more money, please give me more money, please give me a happy relationship. The universe sees that and sees that as, okay, so you don't have a relationship, you don't have money, you don't have this, you don't have that. So we can only keep giving you more of that, because you're emitting to us, you're sending out that frequency that says, I do not have. Therefore, the universe can only give you what you already have. Going back to that famous quote we spoke about, he who has will have more than what he needs, and he who doesn't have will have everything taken away from him. Okay? So stop trying to change the game, learn how to play the rules, and become the master of your own reality by implementing these rules. And I promise you, you will change your fucking life, okay? So thank you. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. So let me know how you get on, and let me know what rules and what laws that you find the most fascinating, and comment down below so that other people can see. And because we're here to help other people, I'm using this channel as a community to where we can support each other, because we are ready to upgrade. We are no longer staying in somewhere in a lifestyle that we no longer want to be in, okay? And I say that with delicacy in the way of, because what I've just spoke about, we need to be that energy that we want to create. So if you want to upgrade, you need to be that upgrade right now. So thank you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.